Welcome back, guys, to the Epulze Royal C Cup Upper Bracket Round 1. Vision Strikers taking a commanding map there on Split 13-3. Seek Strike here, and by my side, Gideon. We're going to be going over to Haven this time. It will be Todak on the defense, but first, I did want to break down, just look at a few of the stats there in that game, because
just a couple.
Because sometimes the stats can tell you a little bit of a picture, right, of things that were going wrong in the numbers, by the numbers. And I think obviously the numbers there very heavily favoring Vision Strikers. Nobody, not that this is, you know, a competitive multiplayer game in a different setting. It's a tactical shooter, so KD not the most important thing. It's more of what you make of these kills. But everyone on the side of Team Todak having less than a 0.8 KD compared to, we had KDs of 2.88, nearly 3 kills per death here on King, on the Cypher. What does that tell you, right? It tells you that he is holding down these sites like a champion.
He really is, and looking at the composition that they have from the side of Todak, there's just certain areas that you just can't beat through, like especially when you're trying to go through a site. Like, you need to be able to start contesting ramp, and every single time they did, it's like, yes, we have won, but we're not going to push any further than this. We're just going to give up heaven and look to try and push through A. Cages pop up, all of a sudden just a hail of bullets. They got mowed down, I think, twice in a row for stacking as 5 and looking to push into A. Yeah,
King even once going as so far as to get of 2 kills with 1 phantom bullet, right? With an operator, with a marshal, okay, right? That's pretty, I don't want to say standard, that's pretty cool,
It
right?
makes sense, you know? It kind of adds up.
With a phantom, it's like, I don't know about that. I mean, just double peeking out wide, or the swinging wide out from Team Todak wasn't really on the money there. You know, other statistics to look at was the performance of RB. I said this briefly before we threw it to our panel. But I would be really looking forward. I'm just really looking forward to see how aggressive he is. He will be starting on attack here, likely on the jet onto Haven. What sort of plays should we be expecting from him?
Well, I'm expecting him to be really, really ballsy here. I think in most situations he does land his shots, of course, but if you have too much pressure put on him trying to get to that point, or at the very least expand his utility very, very early on, that would definitely help. Especially that tailwind. If the moment he doesn't have that tailwind, he doesn't have a secure way of getting in to the site, or at the very least, you don't have to worry about him. Oh, I'm just gonna pop one of your friends, and you're not gonna get the refrag.
He's still got that updraft though, right? To maybe get into some boxes.
True, but at the very least, it's easier to hit somebody with the updraft, because it generally is a lot slower in comparison to that tailwind.
Definitely. I mean, we've seen RB. He's no stranger to just rushing down A long, rushing down C long, does not care. He's immediately looking for picks. So just get ready to see some insane flicks out from this jet. It's crazy. It's really something to watch. And since he's starting on attack, I really fear that either these rounds are going to be lightning fast, sort of like just blitzcrank, lightning warfare, or maybe Todak can try and slow them down here a little bit, try and allow reinforcements to come in and play for the retake, which is generally kind of easier to do here on Haven since there's so many avenues. Do you think maybe the agent composition should change here a little bit for Todak? They decided to go for the Sova on Split, which is traditionally not his strongest map. I think he does a lot better here in Haven, though, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it. Do you think that should maybe be a key step here towards the victory plan for Todak?
I would agree. I definitely think their last composition, yes, there is uses for both Raze and Jet, but I think having both in the composition, especially when you have a Sova Breach and Omen, does kind of put a couple of limiters on your team, especially when it comes to that on the defensive side. There's not much you can really do except win your gunfights.
Yeah, you've got plenty of redundancies in your favor, but then there's a few openings that they can expose, right? Sova just simply does not do as well as Cypher in terms of gathering intel, in terms of seeing who's going to a site. Cypher just can slow down pushes a lot easier, which really can make a difference, as we've seen on a map like Split. Haven as well, though, right? It still can make a big difference.
And the question is preference amongst these teams. You know, we see from especially Todak, Jet, and Raze coming up a lot more often than I would have expected. I thought Breach would be there almost all the time, and yes, he was. Moment, exact same thing, very big staple. But at the end of the day, they're going to be able to play everything here. They need to be able to have agents to be able to counter their opponents more likely with the Cypher. Sage, I probably would have liked to see it. But now that it is going over to Haven, there are opportunities to actually be playing something else. Maybe even well, I'm really hoping if they want to bring it out, please play the Viper.
Yep.
That would be so interesting to
A
watch.
Viper on Haven.
Not the best, of course, but I mean, like, they gotta have a lot of confidence to not bring Viper, or at the very least bring a Cypher into Haven, because if they don't win this, they're gonna be going down over to the lower bracket.
Yeah, and the first 2 rounds of our lower bracket will be single elimination, best of ones. So that becomes pretty scary, right? Because that can maybe come down to, oh man, that's not our map, right? Compared to this best of 3, where you're going to be seeing up to 3 of the 4 maps. I don't want to say there's no room for excuses, but it's going to be more on the individual team's performance here, right?
Totally
agree. You can always try and brush it off and go, oh, that was Split. It's not our map. It's not our map. But if it's Split and Haven and Ascent and Bind, then it's really the team, right?
Yeah.
As we will not be loading in, we do actually see that Viper coming through here. It's gonna be Balto on the Viper, along with the Sova, Jet, Breach, and Omen to round up the draft here for Todak as they set up for the defense.
Yeah, but again, no Cypher on their side this time. They've got some great information gathering. We'll get the Sova. They're going to be able to control their areas as Viper is going to be able to split this map absolutely in half. But now that you guys can see it as well, let's take a look at Vision Strikers. And it looks like a very standard composition. The Sova, the Omen, Breach, Cypher, as well as the Jet.
Yeah, I agree with your point about splitting the map. Actually, that might be very, very powerful. Maybe even just make it very difficult to actually take B site now that the ulti can linger. But pretty low on flashes here on the side of Todak. We do have, of course, the Paranoia, but some would argue it's not really a flash. It's more of a near sight, but it might still be of use here long as their Todak now in some trouble. The Paranoia, though, immediately RB, like I'm telling you. He's just in the sight, and he's killing your team, as they will now drop at least the poison wall. Oh, a nice pick from Balto before he's traded away by Zest.
Yeah, Sax is gonna pick up the Ghost here as they've already secured C site. The rest of the team is just stuck outside. They can't really do too much. They've already lost their Viper in the process, so now they're going to have to just duke it out against Vision Strikers.
Most definitely now is Todak. Ooh, trying to retake here, but they're all going to be coming from one way. King ready for anyone to try and lurk through the garages. RB lit as a pickle now. As he's in a bit of a pickle, Todak now, they're going to be able to get the crossfire down perfectly. One man holding long is going to be traded down immediately by the Jet. Cypher left to try and stop this defuse versus 3. Look at them swarm him now from our little drone shot, as it will be the Doctor delivering that deadly dose with the shots from the Classic to secure the first round. A big win for them here on the defensive side.
Really good clear. They came in as a team. They timed that absolutely perfectly. Jet went around to flank around the boxes, and once they did at the exact same time, intersecting, making sure that no matter who went down or if they even traded for one, that almost guaranteed the refrag.
Oh my goodness, is that really a Marshall here on the anti-eco? Don't get me wrong, that's one heck of a weapon. Can one-shot without any armor? So maybe they've scouted. They know how Vision Strikers likes to play. They know they want to save some money, as you want to do, right? So that is some serious one-shot potential. I don't know. What would you call that here? If a glass cannon Jet is the one with an operator and no armor, what do you call a Marshall with armor?
Well, I think this is a very snowbally gun, because the only optimal time to actually buy this is on round 2 itself.
Yeah.
And if you bring it at round 3, people have armors, then you're just going to be... You got to be like a head popper. Like, you got to be so good at landing those headshots.
Indeed, as we see Balto now rotating around. RB gets lit, but we'll be able to actually snag that ultimate orb as we see the first pick with the Marshall there. We don't see it, but we can hear it as Aduka claims first blood here in our second round.
The rest of the team's still doing pretty good. They've stopped pretty much most pushes, but unfortunately that's going to be King.
Yeah, no one was watching Garage there. Now they can pick up a Spectre. King immediately putting that to good use, maybe looking for a little bit more. He will be scouted, though, as Balto now rushing in through sight. He's got the wall of poison actually all up. Toxin running low, but it's all up to the Breach now as they actually pick off the Jet with the bolt.
Yep. Well, unfortunately, once again, they came in through Garage. Now they're running through through Garage. They go into B site and they need to get the spike down just to get those extra points. But that's not going to mean too much here, as this is going to be Todak's game.
Yeah, Vision Striker, though, they want that extra 1,500 there for their side. Of course, 300 apiece by 5 members to try and get that a little bit of extra money. I kind of like the call there as well to just go for the plants. There's no real reason. He's unlikely to live there only with a pistol. And now we see that eco advantage start to swing. You know, if you look at each round individually, that doesn't really make that big of a difference. But if you look at every single round in terms of its macro state, you do that 2 or 3 times a match. It's an extra 3,000, 4,500 credits for your entire side. Comes in handy.
It really does. It really stacks up, and that's how just the economy in Valorant just works. You got to make sure that you're making the most efficient moves and making sure that you're min-maxing those credits and getting as much value as you can. Oh, Senna nearly getting the initial frag of the round.
Yeah, we're so down to this Marshall, so he needs to go for these headshots. As you see, he's going for the flick now onto the Jet, who will be able to successfully cross into lower sight. The Owl Drone now scattering ahead of the Jet, does not actually find the member holding that corner in A.
Yeah, but Viper is just sitting there. It looks like a lot. They're getting some information down by down by C Long, knowing for a fact nobody's coming through there. So where is everybody going to be? B site hasn't been touched at all. They haven't seen anybody through windows. So the only option left is either they're holding their ground or coming through A. So now you see the full rotation coming in from Todak's side.
A Duca there with the Marshall, looking to maybe trying to find a pick on the RB, who now Vandal in hand continues to push him back now with the smokes. Member in heaven will be now this Jet with the Marshall. They're going to fake the plant, try and get a Duca to peek. Finally, that spike will go down now, Gideon.
Coming in from heaven. Let's see whether this Marshall is going to be put to use. Once again, it's going to get smoked down. He pops on down with the Ghost. Unfortunately, he's going to be taken out as one is sitting down by Hell. As King, he is not going to give up his ground. The Aftershock forcing Jet out of position. Breach is going to find one. The team finds the rest as they clean up Todak from this site.
Yeah. That was a really good effort by Todak there. You can see that they were trying to coordinate the drop. They were dropping the member from heaven, who surprisingly took fall damage, even though of course you can float. But hey, maybe he wanted to get there even faster, right? To land the shots, and maybe try and get the boys to come in through that defender connector. Unfortunately, the cyber cage kind of scared him off, so the Jet just falling into the crossfire of at least 2 enemies, and from there the round is actually pretty easy for Vision Strikers. So they're able to set up very nicely, set up the crossfires, and get round number 3.
Yeah, they need to be committed to the play, because you can't, especially when Jet was dropping down from heaven. Like there is no going back for that. There's no way he can back out. If you're saying go, you're going to have to go. Cage or no cage, molly or no molly.
Yeah, he's already actually used there the oh my goodness, it's escaping my mind.
Updraft, the tailwind.
The tailwind, yes, he's already used the tailwind early in the round. Thank you for the lifeline there. And as you can see, he's now got this operator in hand. Okay, he uses the tailwind, but still actually gets hit there. We'll be able to escape with their life, maybe even with a bit of an ulti orb there, with the knives now available.
Oh boy, look at the amount of members coming in for Vision Strikers. They don't realize that Source is actually wide open. They need to transfer, but they can't. Glow is going to be able to pick up that kill through the smoke. They need to get onto the site because it was so difficult to retake it from them. Snubby actually missing the shock arrow. That's going to be super unfortunate. That's not going to allow them to slow them down.
Indeed, now as Todak, they're going to be able to set up now with using the smoke and as well as that poison as cover. Of course, they can actually reuse that, and they're actually saving up quite a bit of that toxin now. I'd imagine it's got to be full here. It has a pretty nice recharge rate, but does diminish very quickly. So the ultimate available there for the toxin screen, but we'll see if they decide to use a Division Strikers. They're going to attempt now to hold on to this retake as there they go now. RB in, but immediately they just set up perfectly here, and they just run into a wall of lead.
Yeah, the crossfire is just a little too strong. There's just no way if they were all coming out through the exact same area. And unfortunately for Viper, she didn't get that initial frag to open up the site for them, because if Viper was able to get the first initial kill, I think that would have really allowed the rest of people pouring through spawn to have a much easier time. They were getting shot from 2 different sides, and you can see a lot of the members kind of spazzing out, looking at both sides, trying to decide which one they can have to start with.
Not really committing there, right? They didn't have the utility. They didn't even get smoked off that time. Just kind of, again, just running into the bullets there. Now it's going to be a save round as the knives will come through from Todak. It's looking to be a little bit more like RB. Gets hit by the paranoia, though. Second updraft to look for some more kills here, as he will be at least forced off now away from C lobby, down back long into the sites. But A is actually under attack now as RB running through that poison, does not care. And they're going to be able to get the plant yet again.
Man, I love it when these players start jiggling or to tell each other stuff. Oh, here he comes. Balto, he's going to find the first initial kill here on the site. They're dropping the smoke once again. He's going to be picking up the Vandal, but unfortunately it's going to be King taking him out. Aduka has to make the play here. The only one left for the team as they're going in towards that 5th round. They want to come out with a W.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit hard here. The 1v4, you do have these knives. So, you know, 1 knife for each to the head would actually get the job done. But we've seen this scenario play out, even with good numbers for Todak. The 1v4, yep, there we go. More like the 4K instead for King, as he has just been popping off this series on the Cypher.
Yep. This Viper pick is not slowing them down whatsoever. They can't seem to get her head on, and I do think that Viper, instead of sitting by B site, really needs to play for really needs to start playing towards either C or A, because B isn't going to be as important of a site, considering the fact that that it's very hard to hold, and its choke points are very narrow, and there's multiple elevations that you have to worry about in such a small, confined space.
Yeah. It's just, yeah, I think that's instead what they need to do, but they're going for this A setup. The Viper is not really slowing down the push here, like you're exactly saying here, Gideon, so maybe they should be looking to change up the strategy here, as this is going to be halfway through the first half, also known as a quarter, if my math is correct.
What?
Okay, just using the ulti maybe a little early there, but that should close off most of it. I guess it's like a Cypher, as you can kind of cover off both entrances. RB is going to see this and go, huh, interesting.
Yeah, this is a very interesting way of using the ult to kind of cover both sides, from both sewers and as well as A long, and that's going to completely deter VS from actually pushing forward. You can see them just backing off like, nah, I do not want to deal with that.
They're like, well, what does that ult do again? Someone check the... Oh, it's area denial. Ah, man, it doesn't matter. They're going to go through the garage as well as get that information at the drop of the hat. They know one member's here now watching that window, as King looking for the one-way. He's got that smoked off as well. They're going to continue rushing in. Member now dropping down, and look at that. The Doctor actually from behind immediately getting traded up by Stacks, but it's going to be Todak still able to actually hold on to the site, as they will now continue to lurk. Moreover, a Duca popping off now with the Marshall this round, as he's able to get at least two, looking for the 3K. The spike is down with 30 seconds left here, Gideon. It looks like Todak should have this one, and they will. A very big win for them, equalizing at 3 apiece.
Beautiful play coming in for Todak here, especially that Viper. I mean, we both were kind of like perplexed, like, what in the world? Why would you use a Viper ult like that? That's kind of a weird position to put it in. But now, looking at the setup, they made sure that they had the wall cutting in from B to C, making sure that it isolates. You come out of the garage side, what do you see? A wall of gas. There's nothing else you can see because of that, and that just really created a situation where they weren't entirely sure whether or not they could push through, while the rest of the team just took their time, used the elevation to their advantage, and really start picking them off one by one.
Yeah, maybe not expecting that, of course, is now inside of that ultimate in I think the most latest patch, maybe one patch before the most latest, then you no longer actually drain your toxin when you're sitting inside that ultimate. So you can sit in there as long as you want, and Viper will keep that powered up. Now, it's not completely busted, right? Because you can still sneak through either Heaven or just through the connector as a Duca. He's going to be able to find the member that was trying to sneak through that window, picking off all the way from B site, but now Cypher closing the gap here, breaking the smoke. What a shot there through the wall to the head of King.
Oh, I couldn't even react to it. His crosshair just disappeared. That flick was so fast, but so accurate.
Yeah.
All right, well played to Todak here. That's going to be 2 picks onto VS's side. And based on the previous game, the moment Todak gets those first couple of picks, VS start crumbling apart.
Yeah, they really do start to slow down their game here, but we'll see. They're still looking to contest this mid lane. We'll see if they can try and actually get onwards towards B. They know it's probably just an operator, maybe +1 in the garage nearby. As there's going to be a nice flash. Duca trying to line up the shot, unfortunately. Needs to just slightly readjust, shooting the shock darts at him, standing his ground as the second one actually hit the doorway. Ooh, split the gap there, unfortunately, as Zest now able to trade the Viper, who's just kind of walking on through. Hunter's Fury now as Zest trying to get even more kills with the operator. RB as well, picking off the Doctor, making this a 2 versus 3 in favor of Vision Strikers, just like that.
Yeah, Vision Strikers, they've got all their ultimates down. They're just dropping them like hotcakes here, but they quickly need to drop this spike. They've got 10 seconds left, and that's Sova on the C side, able to drop the spike. He's going to be pushing through, pulling back through C long just to get a good angle here. They need to reposition Breach especially.
This is a really interesting position from RB. I think they're going to try and just play for the retake. No one actually currently in the site at all for either sides or in garage, as now finding that will change. Jet just going back to check on that bomb, but they know it's probably going to be a C long plant with members now waiting in garage to peek them. So Todak, they're going to play this one safe. They want to hold on to the operator. They don't see anyone in sight, no information. They're going to make the call to go for the save, although it looks like they're going to be trying to go for the exit frags. No, I can't tell here. RB he's probably going to go for it here as we switch on board to his perspective. Now the Jet might get picked off. He's gonna do it, man. He does not care. Oh, they just miss each other. They just miss each other. Misconnections.
Woo! Okay. Because if one of them went down there, it would have been terrible for either one of the team, but more so for Todak, especially since they are trying to play from, they are playing from behind and need to really start playing the catch-up game here. Because again, ecos are very, very healthy for the side of Vision Strikers.
Yeah, that's something that they do extremely well here. Just maintain control of that economy now, especially with that win there. Unable to get the defuse. Just no one with smokes. Probably Jet. No smokes available for them probably at that stage in the round. And they're going to be able to take good advantage of that. Plant for the long and just know that that's going to be their round. Probably 9 out of 10, right?
Yeah, 9 out of 10 times. But now here comes the Owl Drone. Both sides. We don't get to see the Owl Drone joust this time round. But they've covered 2 different separate areas. Sewers is going to be the priority for the side of Vision Strikers, while the rest of the team, peels back. They don't want to peek A long just yet. Oh, but here comes the gas.
Yeah, immediately the Omen actually is going to complete the teleport. Immediately gets finished off. That's a weapon now in the hands, and an operator's healed for Aduko. Did save onto that one. He is Todak now. They're going to be falling quite low. Toxin as well is slowly depleting, and with that cover gone, King finds 2. Aduko picked off as well by the Phantom as King fakes the plant. Doesn't even need to do it. Stacks finishes the last 2 members from Todak. Great round from Vision Strikers. That Omen, very aggressive, but actually gives them the information to know, oh, careful, there's one in heaven. And this is something I want to bring up very briefly.
Yeah.
Todak, they kind of had this similar issue when they picked the Viper on Ascent, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Where it was like, yes, it's great for denying vision, but also it denies your own vision too.
I think that's why they got to really position it carefully, because right now they're doing it to make sure that, oh yes, I'm blocking your vision, but right as you come into the site. So I think if they can play around with the elevation, especially for people camping around Heaven's side, or more importantly, so they should be using it as a way and standing in off angles. So if anyone does come puncturing through, at least you have the first initial shot.
Yeah, I'd almost like to see them maybe just play for the retake there, right? Haven is a map that easily facilitates you to do this. You can always redeploy your Toxin at a whim, right? So it seems like maybe it behooved them to play this a little bit more defensively, but that's not really how Todak like to do it here.
Yeah, I guess he has his own way of playing it, but so far it's really about innovation because no one really knows how to perfectly play Viper just yet.
Yeah, Senna there. He's going to send over some dark cover. As people are now rotating around. I believe they've heard some footsteps there, as we do have one subby with the Sheriff, revealing plenty of enemy agents there. Does not really want to peek him, but they actually now burned over a minute in this round.
Yep, Aldro once again coming down through A long side. The rest of the team, ooh, VS, it looks like they might be changing it up here, looking to push through onto C, through Garage.
Senna, though, he will be punished. A bit too aggressively positioned there. Now they're going to complete the rush onto C through Garage. Great flashes coming through. Can they find the Viper? Yes. And they're also going to get the Doctor. One left inside. It's going to be Jets, and they will be finished off. Unfortunately, the blade's not landing. It looks like maybe they got 2 onto each.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that one. I definitely don't know how to feel about that, because Todak, they were first on the rotation, and they hard read it. They knew they were coming through C, yet the way they positioned, 2 guys were looking in the same general direction. Not exactly the best. You were cutting off vision. He probably should have stood a lot closer towards that cubby side.
Yeah,
you know, just gun them down.
Whoa, Subby, he might be able to clutch this one. He actually got the one shot there with the Sheriff. He's going to be hard pressed to actually find this, though. We'll pick up one weapon, as they will drop the fault line to keep him off of this bomb. It's going to be nearly impossible. Maybe just looking to do eco damage, as that's going to be those 4 ticks per second now, and he's going to have to back himself away just to try and save a rifle. So some eco saved here for Subby as we return to our Sheriff dual site there. Good to see it.
Yeah. Well, is he going to get this pick? Yes, he does! Just before that last second ticks. Oh,
that's great. Good eco damage there. It's going to force 4 members here to rebuy, as really all alone there. The Doctor, yeah, he's not able to get that round, but he does just about as much as you could reasonably ask him to do there with that 4K.
Yeah, I mean, this is just, it's just so unfortunate. You never want to get exit frag because you think, I'm going to win the round, it's going to be good, I get to keep my guns, and you don't.
Yep. Yeah, he started shooting off into the distance in celebration, only to get shot in the back. It's a bit unlucky for him as there's going to be some hard peeks here. Cyber Cage to cover, though. The Jet, I believe, positioned very aggressively with that Operator. Finds the pick onto one and immediately dashes back into cover. Back into, actually, not even just cover, back into a peak. Nearly landing that second shot there. So Aduka, they're going to be able to get this initial pick off.
Very, very bold coming in from Aduka, but he manages to profit off of that. But look at B side right now. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Senna, nice job. Believe that kill was all the way actually into B, as you said. The 1v1 scenario is Stack's able to win the duel versus Subby. Will now rotate on back. That is going to bait the Viper. It looks like back towards A site, but that's actually where Vision Strikers will be striking as they cut the vision from Aduka. Big pick off there for RB. Pulls out the weapon, has the dash, but it's going to still be this Viper who at least gets one before they're operated down by Zest.
RB, there's still 2 people left. It's 2v2. And there is an HP lead on the side of Todak, but that could easily change because one headshot is all it takes to knock anybody out of this game. So they're gonna have to play this slow and steady, find that initial jump. But you can see that the post plant setup is going to be towards sewer side.
Yeah, very defensively. Again, Vision Strikers know that Todak, they kind of always just come from the same angles here, so they know where to be holding now, as well as the Blades, or the Blade Fury rather, actually coming out here. A little bit surprising, but maybe just looking to get aggressive and secure this 7th round now, as the knives all going out through the smoke will not connect. The fuse coming on in as they will not hit him with 100 Shuri. Zest lining up for both here potentially, as he will be able to get one before RB finishes off the Doctor. They do, however, get the kill onto RB in return, so it's another big buy round here. Lots of eco damage done getting every single round, but I don't think that alone is enough here.
Yeah, I really don't think so as well. I mean, it was a pretty good round. It looked like Todak could be able to turn this over, but just the way that they played it, Vision Strike made a very smart decision. I have the Hunter's Fury. I just need the information. Just run on in, do some damage, give me a couple of things, and I'll handle the rest.
Nicely done there, lining himself up perfectly. Actually, nearly collecting 2 kills there with the Hunter's Fury.
As they look to do this one more time, again, going on to A site here for the side of VS. Look to play slow. Viper sets up the wall B to C once again, but she needs to kind of hunker down here just to kind of either both deny, and more than so likely, I would like to actually give up the site so they can actually play for the retake.
Yeah, I think that might behoove them here. A site's going to be a bit difficult for them to retake. We've seen Vision Strikers go here time and time again, set up for the retakes, planting there to defend it from long, to defend it from A short, and every single time, Todak, again, they just run through the connector and just die.
Yep, there comes the paranoia here. As they try to drop the ultimate from Viper, it's a little too late. Dies before it even goes up, expands too far. Aduka still looking to try to play for pick.
Yeah, and there's actually no follow-up there, so the decay just kind of expiring on most everyone. So everyone's still pretty healthy on the side of Vision Strikers. Also looking pretty healthy is their defense. 5 versus 3 again. I mean, just look at all the angles they're holding here. How do you approach this?
I mean, at a certain point, you're going to need to get some kind of information to try and wall somebody, but there's no way. They've covered every single angle. They covered both sewers as well as A long, with Sova sitting by guarded. Jet is sitting by A long, looking down onto the bomb with the help of the Cypher.
The rest of the team.
Oh, yes, Globe finds that initial frag. Are they still going to go up the chase? Yes, they want to go up the chase.
You betcha.
Third one?
This is Vision Strikers. This is Vision Strikers getting, yeah, you can cut their eyes, but they still will get the trade eventually as they get the full wipe just before the spike explodes. It's going to be the last round here, and I don't think we actually have enough here for a full buy on the side of Todak. So, pardon me, that's those last 3 exit frags actually really coming in handy. King, he knew he's got plenty of money. He was probably capped out, to be honest. He was like, why not? Might as well.
Yeah. Nothing to lose, nothing, and not much to gain as well at this point.
Oh, lots to gain here.
I mean, they secure the round, but yes, the economic damage is going to be pretty huge. So
no more Operator, 2 Bulldogs, a Spectre, 3 light armors, And
we also don't know how much utility they actually have in this round as well.
That's very true here. We can actually see, to your credit, it's actually just the ultimate available now, so they're going to be dropping that one, but we won't have this wall available.
Yeah, this is a tough round because Vision Strikers, they are looking to be extremely oppressive onto onto Todak's lineup, and they have continuously looked to punish their econ time and time again, and it's working out very, very well. It's just really, really hard to watch because you feel so bad for them. It's like, I want to have guns, but I just can't.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just been proving so difficult for them here as Vision Strikers. They might have even heard that ultimate. Are going to now actually bring that spike with them along with 3 members into B short. Viper has to play a little bit of a boring game and kind of just enjoy walking around the boxes here inside the ultimate with that green screen. You know, just enjoying life over there. Again, just continuing to walk around the boxes. Not really much else to do here. Oh, they will leave the site though because they baited them out of C. This is going to mean that poison will dissipate, and that's going to be a free plant here. But more than that, actually, Vision Strikers completely winning the duel. RB yet again assisted there by the Hunter's Fury is able to get a kill.
Oh, that's going to be Zest finding that pickup onto Balto once again. 4 people, sorry, all 5 of their members,
Yeah.
sorry, 4 on site, 1 just lurking through B site to catch somebody off of rotation here. It's going to be some jet on jet action.
That feels so bad. Viper ends up leaving the site, running on back as she hears the spike getting planted, only then to eat an operator shot to the face as Aduka will actually do the same with that Phantom to the face of RB. Avaldraone was going to scout out Subby here as well as our Jets. Let's see here. Oh no. Yeah, this is, I mean, see you later. Zest, they're going to be rushing at him, but King is going to get the trade in return, making it 3-9. Strikingly similar, Gideon, to map number 1.
Very, very similar, and that's just not good for Todak at this point in time because they have to look to stay in this. They don't want to get knocked down over to the lower bracket of this game. But let's look at the replay one more time because, I mean, Sova did some really smart stuff. He drops out the recon arrow. He's making sure that the shots just to kind of harass and poke their opponents. But the moment that Rolling Thunder came out, he gets moved out of position. His friend, his partner in crime ends up dying off. And at that point, what can you really do?
Not much. Not much. I mean, Todak, they seem to have one main method, one practice, and they thought refined method to try and retake through A, but time and time again, Vision Strikers have just owned them there. But I'm looking forward to seeing what this Viper can get done on attack.
Yes, now that we finally switched sides, I would like to see how they utilize this because they're expecting to throw that. Okay.
Oh, wow, Zest. That's amazing.
Okay, buddy. Okay. But yeah, we've seen Todak do this a couple of times. They like to split A off as they look to push in through both sewers and as well as A long, because then you can kind of get a good get a good understanding that your field of vision is only limited to heaven and forcing people looking through spawn to either back away or push up.
And you can see Vision Strikers, they're playing here already for the retake as Todak. Senna getting the pick onto RB, but we're going to be clashing here as the lurkers inside of window. Balto not expecting them there. That means now they can re-push back through A without the Viper to reactivate that wall. Again, so aggressive King with the classic as well as a little bit of armor. He's going to get the intel from the recon bolt, but eventually will now back off as he's deciding to maybe go back and help out the push coming A.
Yeah, are they going to drop the spike or not? It looks like they are just, I mean, they did lose their Viper in the process, so again, they're not going to have that toxin in the wall to actually block vision from spawn side. Oops, Subby, unfortunately, was able to turn away in time, gets the first initial kill. Can he get another one? Ooh, he digs it, but that's just not going to be enough against a team like Vision Strikers, making sure that every one of their shots are headshots.
I really like King, who just like comes B-hopping in through the FOV of the member holding hell for Todak, and then immediately a second member also peeks for Vision Strikers, and they just literally, they just like B-hop their way into the site, kill everyone, get the defuse, but really, that round kind of fell apart as soon as the Viper died. Yeah,
and I think, you know, that's also one of the biggest points about Viper is that if she goes, a lot of your utility is just basically gone. At least with Cypher, it kind of just remains there and it still is useful to a certain extent.
That's a good point.
Yeah, because you don't have the detonation trigger, so what can you really do with the Viper if she's dead? So she needs to be alive to really start making that difference.
Yeah, and yeah, you can see Todak, they're going to arm up with some shorties, some ghosts. Pardon me, but overall save for the next round.
I thought you were going to be part of me. I wish they had Buckies.
Well, you know, I think that goes without saying at this point.
Yeah, myself, definitely. Right? Oh, wow, look at that split right down the middle, all the way cutting the B in half.
Yeah, they're going to cut that cake as the wall will now drop, and you can see up a little bit more poison because the push is actually coming here for the side of Todak. King, he's going to be ready, sweeping around long angles here. Mid double doors as now in comes the push, but Vision Strikers repelling perfectly here now. RB cleaning up shop. That's a flawless. And by the way, I'm pretty sure they saved quite a bit of money there.
They saved a lot of money there, and this is now becoming a very, very impossible situation for Todak to actually come back into this. They have to win this round. They don't have a choice. If they lose this, they essentially have to take another econ round, and then they have one more opportunity. But even then, it's just, what do you have? You forced by what, Spectres and Frenzies at this point?
Yeah, Zest is going to pick up the Judge, interestingly enough, as I think he held on to that one from last round, decides, yeah, why not? I bought this thing. I'm going to get a few kills with it, as we'll see what they can get done. But indeed, the full buy coming through from Todak. It's really, really up to this round here, as you said, Gideon.
Yeah, it looks like they cut off with the wall. This time it's going to be Spawn as well as Garage. I do really like these setups coming in from Viper. This just the problem is that every single time they get onto the site, they just come B-hopping through and just go,
hello! Yeah, RB gets like 3 headshots and get people in the chat say Vac is up. Goes the wall now, the site being pushed into Todak. Trying to get the job done here. King actually very confused, vulnerable as well, and he's gonna get sprayed down by the side of Todak. Aduka will get 3 before he's traded away by Glow, but Subby is going to be able to clear that site. 1 player remaining. It's RB, only with a ghost. He might just go for it here.
Yeah. You might actually, but I mean, so far so good. That was a really good round coming in from Todak, especially how ambitious it was. They were pushing through, and they did this on B side. Didn't work out too well. They decided to do it on C, and the amount of smokes just completely being thrown to cut off vision to back site, really, really smart overall. It's very similar to the by default plant on A.
Yeah. My mistake. RB will be saving here. I thought he was just equipped with the Ghost, as he normally likes to do after winning the pistol round. But now he's got the Vandal now, and he's just having a little bit of fun there, just staring at the post with the aim down sight, practicing his peeks, and other than that, just probably having a good time.
Don't you just love it when players communicate with each other just by jiggling around? They're just like, hey, do you want to go? They're counting 3, 2, 1, but you can clearly see them like trying to synchronize their sidestepping at the same time.
Yep. Yeah. I feel like, of course, there's got to be some communication verbally being done, but we only get to see the half of it here as RB's like, hey, drop me operator, give me my gun. No, he's got the Vandal. He's good to go. He's got plenty of money here as he has actually dropped the operator of his own for one of his teammates here as Todak taking the round. Actually do manage to put Vision Strikers in a little bit of a pinch, right? They don't have a whole lot of money to go around as well. There's the operator now possessed.
All right, Vision Strikers looking to be a little bit more aggressive this time. They're taking a much further forward position, but this time it could be a little different because Todak, once again, following the exact same strategy that was working out for them before. You can see Vision Strikers leading more towards the C side of the map.
I think they've committed. They've dropped the poison wall here now. I think Vision Strikers will now begin to rotate everyone over, Gideon.
Oh, the Aftershock, they've got to be so careful. They're looking to push through. That's King with the first one. Unfortunately, the penetration doesn't actually go through. He's now nearsighted, hiding behind this box. They're taking them out one by one, and that's going to be it for the round. Vision Strikers taking another round off the tunnel. This is really hard for me to watch, man. I'm all about that Malaysian team stuff, but this time,
broadcasting from Malaysia here, so the home team favorites for certain. Unfortunately, they are just again running into Vision Strikers, and every single time, even on the defensive side with 2 or 3 agents holding, it just seems like they can't just breach this wall. Everyone going for the rush C device strategy, and it's just not working out for them here. Forced to buy now here for Todak, rather. They do have a bit of money. One man though with the Stinger. It is going to be the Jet, and up close and personal, that thing can't shoot through an enemy agent.
Yeah, but it looks like they're going to go for the setup on A this time. Toxic has been pulled up and set up just nicely, but Soba is coming on through. Todak actually find the initial pickup. That's going to be 2 for 1 in their favor.
Nice. I like this aggression out from Aduka. He knows I need to be the first to smoke that one off. He does beat the dark cover now with the Blade Fury ready to go, but one lurking from behind. It's actually going to be here Stacks on the breach. He's not really sure what's going on. And here's footsteps coming from A short, but the bomb also being planted here at the same time as they will be now approaching from 2 angles. Can they actually hold on? Stacks is going to be undetected. 5-1. He's going immediately for anyone holding back a sight, but he's going to get the kill onto Senna. The Doctor, though, returns the favor onto the enemy Omen himself. Stacks with the 3K now does have plenty of time, but it's going to be King ultimately that receives the final kill credits, and Vision Strikers will take the map 13-4.
Vision Strikers, oh my goodness, this team is on fire. They do not miss. They are very calm and collected. Look at that discipline. Look back. Every single time their flicks are so accurate. Their players are just making sure they are performing at their top level.
Yeah, indeed. And just great communication, good tactics. And I do have to give a shout out to Team Todak. They definitely gave him a run for their money on some rounds. They were coming at him with a Viper, an agent who... Pardon me, we have seen previously played only by them, but never, I believe, in any of the European or any tournaments that I've been personally watching.
Yeah, but it's unique. So far, it's just unique, especially in this tournament. It's just one of the few things that not everybody does. Like, we have seen more Killjoy than we've seen Viper. Viper only unique to Todak.
That's a very good point. You actually bring up lots of Viper, bit of Killjoy, bit of Viper, lots of Killjoy. I'll even say, as BBI actually do like to pick them up as well here. But let's take a look at some of our post-game stats. I mean, yet again, it's 17 rounds here total. King, RB, and Stacks claiming those top 3 positions. And unfortunately, I think just a bad game from Senna. I think we usually do actually get to see him be a little bit more productive on this lurker role. Unfortunately, it's just couldn't really get the job done here. 4-16-3.
I mean, he really got shut down with a lot of the strategies, especially with the map that they were playing on Haven. It's just you can lurk, sure, but there's just so many places that you're going to have to check before you get to your main goal, which is going to be one of the sites that you're going to have to give all your resources to get on. Because in most situations, you're almost never going to be able to get towards the spawn side of the defenders.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think a lot of this has to do with just knowing that you're up against RB, who even on defense is going to be rushing out, kind of peeking these angles, which you get shot from, and you go, why would anyone ever be holding that angle? What is this guy, insane? And RB's like, yeah, actually I am. And he goes to kill the rest of your team after that.
I feel like he has like a little graph that he takes a coin and just flips it. It's like, which side am I going to be on this time? Just to really mix it up with people. Because if we literally have a timeline of the positions that he has been on the map, literally every round he is, okay, I'm going to sit here. And then he's going to play a game of rock, paper, scissors. Like, I'm going to sit here again just to mess with them. And then I'm going to go over to the seaside.
He rolls like 2d4, you know, before every round starts to decide where he's going. His teammates are like, man, could you not roll your dice on the mic? And he's like, hey, do you want me to win this round or not? And he's like, okay, I guess. No. Not to take the credit away from Vision Strikers, who, as a whole, performed very nicely. King,
very nicely.
Yet again, just proves to be just this wall in all of these sites. 9-7-6 on him with 3 first bloods on a Cypher.
Yeah, he is a very chilled player. Like, he literally has ice in his veins when he is just standing still, waiting for the opportunities to come through. But more so in clutch situations as well. The timer, 50 seconds on the clock, he just takes his time and just plays patiently and starts picking them off one by one.
Yeah, and I think Cypher First Blood, not the most rare thing in the world, but generally Cyphers, they're going to call out to their team. They're coming. Drop themselves a cyber cage to try and slow down the enemy team, maybe spray through the smoke to try and slow them down even more, and back off. Whereas this guy, he's like, oh, they're coming, I'm going to kill them.
I bet he just says one word, it's like, they're here.
They're
just
here.
Start cutting them down one by one.
He's just being a menace to them. I mean, just a great performance as well by him. But Team Todak, they're going to be going down to the lower bracket. What do you think? Will we be seeing the Viper from them more in the lower bracket when they go back and watch the VOD of this?
Well, I mean, it's definitely going to be based on map. It is the best of one, so it's not like they have that much power in their hands to make sure that it works every single time. It is unique specifically to Haven because in their previous matchups, they don't bring the Viper unless it's Haven.
They put it on Ascent, actually, interestingly enough. So I was taking a look at their lineups here. I did like on attack how they would wall off from Garage to the C connector.
Yeah, you're right.
As well as on defense, they would wall off B as well as the Garage window. So some real cute usage, some real great usage, actually, of the Viper. Well, the problem is if she's dead, if she's dying to rather the lurkers coming through from Vision Strikers, you just lose so much of the benefit of picking that agent.
It'd be an interesting thing to see if, Riot decides to change the way it works. Like, if the moment she dies, all of her utility goes off.
Interesting. Yeah, that would be kind of an interesting
Because
change,
then
right?
it would work both ways because you're waiting for that timing of, oh, I see you're going to get that first pick, pull up the wall now so that the rest of the team can't really do anything. But if they trade, then it all goes haywire very, very quickly.
You're going to see like a Viper be a boomer and just run into enemy teams. Oh, that'd be great. No, but I kind of like that suggestion, right? Because that is such a big problem right now on the Vipers. Yeah, this utility's like situationally pretty good, especially if you can coordinate it very well, but as soon as you die, it's like, well, that was useless, right?
That was all me.
Yeah, the Viper as well, I gotta give kudos to utilizing that A setup quite nicely, being very patient. Unfortunately, I mean, they gotta have that ego a little bit broken there. That one round where they held A perfectly, Vision Strikers, they kind of just wait. They knew the Viper was probably gonna leave. They bait people over to C, I think with the Cypher alone, who ends up getting like 2 kills. So of course Todak rotate on over. They think there's more players there, only for the spike rather to get planted A, and the Viper to eat an operator shot when entering the site. That's gotta sting.
But that's the thing. Right now, we're seeing the divide start happening. These teams, some of the better teams, are really taking it in stride. While some of the other teams are just looking to try and keep it together. The teams that are sitting on the top are looking to fake their opponents out. They know they can aim consistently, so now it's trying to go above and beyond and add another 100 IQ to their brains.
Speaking of 100 IQ to the brains, let's go ahead and throw it over to our panel, Alba Plus and the boys, after a short break to break down this match.